Please, Emperor Trump, we have been winning so much. Can we take a moment to celebrate before we win again?
We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to win so much.
But please, sire, we must take a break to regroup before we announce our next steps. We are still rolling out the 50-year mortgage and the 2K checks for the plebs. Even after all that, the plebs are not satisfied, sire. Please relax.
I'm going to bomb the shit out of them.
My lord, the peasants have breached the fortress doors.
Welcome back to the channel. Tune in or ghost out. Where do we start? It seems like the second I post one of these videos, 30 other major things happen right after, and I'm just not well equipped enough to make 7 videos a day. So today's big deal of the day is Trump saying that America has no talent. And this comes right after he said that he had to import 600K Chinese students to keep our colleges alive, including the HBCUs. But you know, before the gooch lickers say I'm taking him out of context, I think it's very important that we watch the clip, because I feel like the clip is worse than anything I could say.
I mean, the H1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration, because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put you.
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll give
you an example.
She tries to give him the dunk, but in Trump fashion, he just doesn't see it and just shoots himself in the foot. You have plenty of talented people here. No, we don't. No, we don't. We are not birthing our best and our brightest. They are birthing the retards. What, you want me to take these idiots off the unemployment line and give them a job? The Fox News is like, well, what did they do when we were kids? It's fun. She's trying to act like she's an average person. You're talking to a president who started his career with $1 million loan from his dad, and I doubt that this reporter really had any troubled upbringing at all, but these are not average people. We already know this. So let's see what people actually think about this policy. Mask Millennial says, I always thought Trump was way too prideful to destroy his legacy, but unfortunately, it seems that GDP go up boomer brain is terminal in 100% of the cases. After 3 more years of H1B cope and pretending the economy is good, he's going to be hated by both sides forever. Facts. Bowtied Ranger says, Trump's getting absolutely annihilated on the timeline. Never seen the right give him this level of pushback before. The anti-H1B genie ain't going back in the bottle. And I think this tweet highlights just how bad everything is going this week alone for Trump. Trump, new American gold aid. Also Trump, 600K Chinese students, Al-Qaeda in the Oval Office, no Epstein files, H1B visas, 50-year mortgages, 15-year car loans, layoffs, inflations, and skyrocketing premiums, and the absolute death blow for young Republicans. You have Nick Fuentes coming out and saying MAGA is dead. But like, what do you expect? Even the Fox News host went on the air and debunked this whole H1B visa nonsense.
Currently, there are supposedly around 700,000 H1B visa holders in America. Now, who is coming to this country to take these high-skilled jobs? As I mentioned, STEM fields dominate the occupations, and most of the workers come from India. In fact, 70% of H1B visa holders come from India. Another 10 to 15% come from China. 80% of H1B visa approvals are for entry-level or junior-level jobs. That's a little hard to stomach when we hear that we're not talented enough or that we're not skilled enough for these jobs, when you consider that most of these jobs are actually at entry or junior-level jobs.
80% of H1B visa applicants and people who are approved to work here end up taking entry-level jobs. What skills are we not getting, President? And I'm not gonna lie, this does not look good for India. 70% of the people we're bringing in are Indian. What are we doing? How are we bringing in 70% from one country and then the other 30% are from China and then wherever the hell else? Whoever's in charge of approving these visas definitely has a favoritism towards one country. Where's the diversity? Because if you think about it, the people who are taking those visas are probably escaping a life that they don't want to live over there, which is very understandable. There are a lot of problems with India and Asia. America has problems too, but you know, there's like a lot of benefit to working here. But when people abuse the system, it's kind of when things turn on their head. You've seen reports that people who are graduating from Harvard can't even find a job right now. And overall, the college graduates that we're seeing today look very much like the ones that we saw around the 2008-2012 era, right after the recession. They're having to stay home longer than expected, delaying milestones lockdowns for even longer. And when they do finally find a job, it's going to be in a field that they didn't even go to school for. And this isn't some fake outrage like, oh my God, Americans are just the best, the best, the best. Because there are some fields that America is lacking behind in. Battery making is one of them. The chip making that we do in Taiwan, that is also another job. And there's probably more specialized fields that I don't know about that we would need to import people from outside the country to help at least teach American workers how to do. But when you look at the stats and the claims that are being made, the stories don't really add up. As we saw, these visa holders are going after entry level and junior level jobs. That's kind of why tech is seeing so many layoffs, in my opinion. I remember back when I was young, fresh out of high school, you could get into tech by just learning how to plug stuff in. If a lot of you are familiar with the CompTIA A+ certification, it is literally just the basics of computering, binary, and that would be enough to get you a job a lot of the times. But over the years, it just didn't go as far, and you would see more of these roles start to disappear quicker. And I know it's because a lot of American students are applying for it, don't get me wrong, but also they're just importing people that are willing to do it for like $40K. This argument that there's not enough workers or that we're useless will never make sense. I remember Vivek Ramaswamy was talking about this not too long ago, like right after Trump won the election. He said something like,
we need more books and less TV.
No more Saturdays at the club, but more Saturdays doing science.
That sounds good in a tweet. In actuality, that's not what's happening. What's really going on is Vivek Ramaswamy and the party that he associates himself with has relentlessly made college harder to pursue for Americans over the decades. Going back to Reagan and several other policies that followed, they have been defunding and making college more expensive and just overall villainizing higher education. It seems like anytime the president or someone from his administration takes the mic, it's just to call colleges these woke left radical Antifa hubs, or they're telling the parents not to send their kids to college because it's just so evil and woke. But at the same time, he advocates to bring in 600K Chinese students who are from a communist country into these colleges to get radicalized by the woke left that hate America and then send them back to China to do better than us. Every time you hear one of his ideas, you gotta jump through 7 loops to make it make sense.
I love the poorly educated.
Dunk on Biden all you want, but he at least offered to get rid of the debt or even talked about it. And so far under Trump, all we've gotten is Linda McMahon, the wife of Vince McMahon. Yeah, the guy who owns WWE. And the only thing she's proposed to do is defund education even more. When you put all this together, the fact that he wants to import more HB1 visas, import more students into our college, while at the same time telling Americans that they don't need college and they shouldn't even go to these schools at all to begin with, it seems like he's setting up America for years of H1B visa abuse. And some people point to the fact that he put a $100K fee on all new H1B visa holders, which sounds good on paper, but you don't have to do that to reform a system. You could actually put real legislative change into these systems so they don't get abused. But in his mind, as long as they pay, it's okay. The $100K fee may turn people away. I'm not sure how well it's working already, so I'm not gonna talk bad about that right now. But just like every other thing in America, when you're done abusing one system, you're just gonna find the next one, which is exactly what happened in Georgia when 300 South Korean immigrants were caught working at a Hyundai factory illegally. And not saying that it was illegal immigration, but they came to this country on visas that were not permitted to work at all, and they worked anyway. And this actually created a little rift between South Korea and America, but these are the things that go on. And even when you call it out, they'll just call you a bigot or a racist, or they'll say something insane like Americans don't even want to do these jobs, which is crazy. When you're not even giving people the chance or offering the job to them, you're just automatically turning to importing people. But before I close off the video, let's see what an uncompromised Trump had to say about HB1 visas during his 2016 election.
Well, first of all, I think, and I know the H1B very well, and it's something that I frankly use, and I shouldn't be allowed to use. We shouldn't have it. Very, very bad for workers. And second of all, I think it's very important to say, well, I'm a businessman and I have to do what I have to do, and it's sitting there waiting for you, but it's very bad. It's very bad for business in terms of, it's very bad for our workers, and it's unfair for our workers, and we should end it.
Because no matter what I say, I think he said it better than I could. But what do I know? Just an unemployed guy playing Call of Duty, sharing my opinion. A lot of stuff has happened in the past couple of days, so I will be making a bigger video tackling that. But I wanted to get this out here just to say Americans are not talentless. We are talented. Don't believe this shit the boomers tell you, man. They're out of touch. They don't know what's going on, and they still think we're running on like Windows XP. But let me know what you think down below in the comments. Do you agree or disagree? Do we have a problem with the visas, or is this just being blown out of proportion by both sides? If you haven't already, like and subscribe to join the thread. And with that being said, thank you for tuning in. Until next time.